Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Cinderella from 2015. This is a live-action film. It's not animated. It is also not a musical. It is an hour and 50 minutes long, and it stars Lily James as Ella, who later gets the nickname Cinderella because in order to keep warm, she must sleep by the fire, and that is all suggested in other versions of this story, obviously, but this film is really intent on giving us a full origin story to Ella, Cinderella. From her young life, we get to meet her mother and see the love that her and her mother and father had. And by the way, her mother is Haley Atwell, not the only Marvel Cinematic Universe actor to appear in this. By the way, directed by Kenneth Branagh, also of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who did the first just the first Thor movie, right? I think it's the first Thor movie, just the first one. There's a lot of MCU actors show up in this. I'll get to those in a minute. But we get to see the young life of Cinderella and everything that went into her predicament of living with an evil stepmother and some really snotty evil stepsisters. And we call them evil. I did this with Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella a couple weeks ago. It's not that they're evil, that they're just awful people. They just when you do not treat someone with just basic humanity and kindness, it reflects on you that you're a fairly awful person. It's especially when Ella was raised to be kind and brave and everything else by great parents, who both of which she lost at a young age. Well, she lost her mother at a young age, and then she lost her father many years later, who had remarried for some reason Kate Blanchett. Well, okay, I can understand why he would marry Kate Blanchett, not Lady Fontaine. So, yeah. By the way, this film also lets you know that green is very much still Kate Blanchett's color, whether she's Hela in the Thor films or if she is, Lady Fontaine. She wears a lot of green in this, and green is a color of jealousy, and very much she is jealous of her new husband's love for his daughter. And so when he goes away, when he passes while traveling, he travels a lot, by the way. When he passes, guess what? Ella pretty much gets knocked down a few notches. She is not important. She's basically a servant girl. They don't have enough money to have servants anymore. By the way, they're in a big house. You get the idea that very early on, they make it clear that he's not a lord or any kind of royalty, but he certainly was a landowner, and a pretty wealthy one, and pretty much the reason why Lady Fontaine married him in the first place and wooed him. I'm sure there's plenty of other reasons as to why he might have married this fairly awful woman who is nothing like his former wife. But that's a whole other story. I'm sure that maybe Disney will make an animated series about that. I have no idea. Build out the Disney cinematic universe of never mind. It's not going to be told. So either way, we get Lily James as the grown-up teenage young woman, Ella, who is friends with animals. Yes, there are animals in this one, unlike Rodgers and Hammerstein's one. They had a budget for CGI. Good CGI in many cases. I don't know if this film gives me the impression that this might have been still suffering from the era of let's put every movie in 3D in the theaters. I don't recall. But there seems to be some elements where, I think we're going to make things appear that would look good in 3D. Of course, this is not in 3D. There's not a 3D option to watch things on Disney Plus. Makes sense. It really you usually need the equipment or the glasses or whatever to make that possible. But in this case, it's obvious all the animals are CGI. It's not, there's no, oh my gosh, there's real mice. Yeah, no, and then it's all digital. So it's fine. It's expected. Does it look perfect? No, but you know that mice don't act that way. Yes, Gus is in this one. So, and he's a big guy who just eats. So yeah, but they don't talk, they don't sing. And speaking of singing, like I said, there's no music in this. I mean, there's music, but there's no songs. There's no bippity boppity boo. No wish. A dream is a wish your heart makes. However, they're not in the main structure of the film. They are playing over the credits. So Lily James does sing "A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes," and Helena Bonham Carter, who is the narrator and also the fairy godmother, sings "Bippity Boppity Boo" over the credits. So if you wanted to get that into your out of your system, well, here you go. You can make sure you watch to the end of the credits, and you'll see, you'll hear their takes on those classic songs. In the film itself, over 1 hour and 50 minutes, it deals with, like I said, a large chunk of her early life, just seeing how everything came to be. Then it starts really booking through the whole sequence that we know so well of her living a miserable life, treated like garbage, the Cinder girl serving her not adopted family, but her step family, and with unmitigated cruelty put her direction. And then, when it comes, she meets a handsome. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. This does not deviate very far from the original story, and that's fine. There are elements that sort of give a little bit more depth to the prince. His name is Kit. Oh, by the way, Richard Madden plays him. Richard Madden, you might know as why can't I say it? It's from Game of Thrones. He's from Game of Thrones. Robb Stark. So he plays one of the Stark brothers in Game of Thrones, and yeah, he and his big blue eyes make an appearance in this. He runs into this pretty girl in the woods pretty early on, so it gives you an idea of, well, they might have had a connection sooner than just, hey, I met you at the dance, and now we're gonna, hang out, and we're gonna fall in love immediately. There's a little bit of an interaction, and they don't really truly show who each other is in order to be accepted for something more than their status in life. Her, basically a servant girl, and he, a prince. They kind of wanted to see each other as who they were. Wanted each other to see, you know what I'm saying. So there's a little bit of deception that goes on there, but the charm, the connection between them is apparent from the start. And of course, when he's being pressured to become, find a mate, find a wife, a princess, because he needs to. There's a ticking clock in this because it looks like his father, the king. There is no mother in this one. So everybody's missing a mom in this one. Ding ding, Disney trope. Everybody's missing a mom. In this, he needs to become king sooner than later because dad is not well. So everybody's parents are dying in this one. Everybody's parents die in this one. Well, I mean, the prince's mom was already gone at that point, but either way, he needs to find a mate, and he's not necessarily looking to just marry any old hot princess, and there are plenty of them. This is a nondescript country somewhere in Europe, obviously, as most stories from this era were told and originated in many ways. So we get to see a little bit of romance. We get to see a little bit of, they cut to the chase when it comes to the dance. They are the first and his only dance at that dance, because upon seeing her resplendent in that blue gown that you see right here, you're not going to dance to anybody else. Come on, seriously. There's a lot of gorgeous women at that party, but yeah, going right for her. But before that, how does she get the dress? Well, Helena Bonham Carter shows up as a fairy godmother and is her usual wonderfully weird self. she is what it say. Oh, the fairy godmother's name was Helena Bonham Carter. but super blonde in this one, by the way. And not an old lady kind of thing, although she does get a little old lady-ish at the very beginning to, you know, sort of, I don't know, attract Ella's sympathy. And not that she wasn't kind in the first place, not that she wouldn't help that she wouldn't help an old woman, but, you know, she transforms herself, and then of course she goes into the process of transforming the pumpkin and the mice into horses and the lizards into coachmen. And so yeah, it's a whole thing. That is a big moment in this, and it is one of the better digitally animated sequences in this. That's where I think they put a lot of their animation money towards, rather than, I guess, the mice. Most of the time, but again, when you're dealing with animals, it is very obvious that it's animated, and it sort of takes you out of it a lot of times. So, what are you gonna do? It's not that it's bad animation; it's just it shows its age over time. So, anyway, we get a little bit more intrigue. There's a member of the court that is kind of working his own agenda. Played by Stellan Skarsgård, also a veteran of the original Thor film. Why can't I say he's the Grand Duke? But he played. Why can't I remember who he played in? He played. Come on. Yeah, Dr. Selvig. Yeah. Wait. Okay, my brain just doesn't retain every name. There's a lot of names out there that these actors portray. So anyway, yeah, I'm not, by telling you all this, I'm not spoiling how this story works out. I think it's a pretty good rendition of a story that we all know so well. So you can't really mess it up too badly. It is something that children can enjoy. Yeah, some people are gonna be like, oh, you can't enjoy anything except the original animated version. Yeah, okay, fine. If you want to limit yourself, it just because that is just greatness does not mean that there can't be other versions out there that you can enjoy just as much, just for the same spirit, in the same spirit that you enjoy the original. It doesn't mean to replace it. It doesn't mean that it cancels out the previous version. You can still enjoy both, and that's okay. So I am going to say, yeah, you know what? Check this out if you haven't already. I forgot that it existed. And it's only from 2015. It's not even 10 years old. And it was one of the many live-action remakes that Disney was just cranking out. It just didn't require nearly everything in it to be digitally animated, like The Lion King or Jungle Book or all these other things that were, for the most part, had humongous amounts of digitally animated characters. And directed by Jon Favreau. So, man, they go back to that well of Marvel directors to do a lot of their Disney live action stuff. I guess they know how to work with them well once they bought Marvel. So yeah, I say definitely check it out. It's a nice diversion, and if you want to see it from a slightly different time frame, her young life, in addition to the story you already know, yeah, it could be fun. And of course, the comedy in this is primarily provided by the stepsisters, who are over the top and silly and just wonderfully acted by them, by Sophia McShera and Holiday Granger. Wow, not Hermione, Holiday Granger. So yeah, it's a fun film. I'm gonna dispense with having this thing select a movie for me tomorrow, because I already know what I'm gonna watch tomorrow. It's a movie that just sort of snuck up on us. I've been waiting for them to announce when it's gonna premiere on Disney Plus. It's this. That right there. I knew it was going to be the main thing that pops up. Wish is the movie that came out last fall around Thanksgiving, I think, and Wish is what we're watching next tomorrow on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.